I feel sorry to the fans because the fight is boring. The fight is boring. Like that's not the fans expecting to us.
Certain Terence Crawford in his brain is saying to himself, I can beat this dude. You know what I'm saying? If he actually goes through with it, he'll be 38 years of age next Sunday.
Guy right now in the sport that's supposed to be the man, big bad wolf. You beat him, you the wolf. Now it's like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, well, so I'm gonna fight. You beat the shark, you beat the wolf.
Manny Pacquiao mocked Floyd Mayweather for calling out Terence Crawford, saying he feels bad for the fans because this is not the kind of fight boxing needs. He explained that it would be boring and just another exhibition since Floyd has been retired for years and hasn't had a real fight in a long time, making it meaningless.
The fight is boring. Like that's not the fans expecting to us. I mean, as a fighter, if I'm a fan, of course I want to see a good fight, like Chin fight, not a passion show.
Manny Pacquiao strongly criticized Floyd Mayweather, saying he feels sorry for him because his focus is only on making money. Manny believes Floyd's return to the ring has nothing to do with legacy or real competition, but just about cashing in on exhibition fights. He said a fight with Terence Crawford would only be about greed, not sport, and that this takes away the true spirit of boxing, turning it into more of a business show than a real fight.
At the beginning of this conversation, you say, I don't like boastful people. How was it like fighting Mayweather then? Did he get on your nerves? Because I feel like he's a little bit more boastful than the people you might be wanting to hang out with.
Yeah, he's boastful. I think his God is the material things, money, everything like that. I'm pretty with him because I want to share the word of God in him if he believe God.
Yeah. I've heard he's a generous man. I think he's done good things. I think, he kind of reminds me of like a lot of people are like this, by the way, including myself. I'm not just saying him. I'm including myself. The man who goes up to Jesus and says, what should I do to get into heaven? He says, sell all your belongings. And he walked away crying because he couldn't sell his belongings.
Exactly.
The announcement of Floyd Mayweather fighting Mike Tyson in 2026 shocked the boxing world. Many experts say this is not a real fight between two fighters at their best, but more of an entertainment show made for money. The fight is being promoted as a warm-up for Mayweather before a possible match with Terence Crawford later that year. Both events are seen as money-driven, with huge pay-per-view sales expected. Tyson is still a legend, and Floyd's global name ensures the fight will get massive attention, even if it doesn't mean much for the sport.
Broadcast for Jake and Tyson and some people like the likes of Carl Froch viewed that as an endorsement. Like, look, man, I'm just working. It's a big opportunity to be on Netflix. I didn't put the fight together. I'm not paying these guys. So, let's chill out. But all right, I'm not going to poo-poo this. I just don't know what CSI is. And the way it was presented made me think that there was like a secondary press release to come, that they'll be involved in like some sort of like virtual boxing thing. Like, it just didn't seem real. You know why it didn't seem real? I'll tell you why. There's no date attached to it. There's no venue attached to it. Forget rules, exhibition, not exhibition, weight. I mean, here's a guy who fought a heavyweight forget all that. These things can get figured out, the fine details. The fact that it was announced, why announce something with no date or location attached to it? What's the point? Unless you're just trying to get people excited and trying to get them, trying to get some investors or something like that.
But maybe also testing the waters. If the response was overwhelmingly positive, maybe you go, okay, we move forward. If the response is muted or negative, maybe you go, okay, we're not going to actually do this. You lob it out there as a way to poll the public, and then make an adjustment.
So you don't think it happens?
I do not think it happens. I just don't think there will be enough interest. I know they have huge name value. There's zero, after the last performance by Mike Tyson against Jake Paul, I don't think there's going to be interest in seeing Mike Tyson do that again.
Terence Crawford has always shown respect for Manny Pacquiao, calling his career one of a kind in boxing history. He praised Manny for winning titles in many weight classes, often against bigger opponents and in tough situations. Crawford said Pacquiao's success was not only historic, but almost impossible to repeat, as he reached greatness in a way no other fighter would even try.
man, a generational talented fighter. Like, he's accomplished what no other fighter is ever going to accomplish.
The idea of Terence Crawford fighting David Benavidez has become a hot topic among fans. Many see Benavidez as one of the most dangerous fighters today, with his size, youth, and aggressive style making him a tough challenge. Supporters believe this fight would push Crawford in ways no opponent has before. However, nothing is confirmed yet, so for now it's just talk. Still, the discussion shows that fans want real, high-risk fights instead of exhibitions or celebrity matches.
The world, not me, but shocked the world. This past Saturday, Mexican Independence Day weekend, what he took on defeated another first ballot Hall of Famer, but he essentially jumped up 3 weight classes, technically 2, from 154 to 168, but only had 1 fight at 154 last August against Israel Majimov. Terence Crawford defeated Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is a 4-division champion, 2-time undisputed super middleweight, and the reigning, at the time, super middleweight world champion, undisputed world champion. And Terence Crawford beat him handily and convincingly. And because he beat him so easily, now the 63 win, 3 loss, 2 draw, 39 win by way of knockout, biggest threat has been now imposed on Terence Bud Crawford. And that's the Mexican Ecuadorian monster, David Benavidez, who is a 2-division undefeated world champion, is the 2-time WBC super middleweight and reigning WBC light heavyweight, 175-pound champion, who has a record of 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 24 wins by way of knockout. He stands 6'2" with a 75-inch armies. This is a fight that David Benavidez has been calling for Canelo Alvarez when he was at 168, and Canelo Alvarez strategically maneuvered around him. But Canelo Alvarez is 5'7", with a 70-inch arm reach, started his career at 147 pounds, made his real name at 154 pounds. He's not a big guy, okay? And styles make fights. Benavidez is 6'2", with a 75-inch arm reach. His last fight at 168 against Demetrius Andrade, he rehydrated to 193. So he's a big guy. Canelo Alvarez probably rehydrate to 182, maybe 185 max, right? He's not a big guy, right?
Trainer Greg Hackett praised Terence Crawford's big win over Canelo Alvarez, calling Canelo the shark of boxing who ruled the sport for years with power and skill. Hackett said Crawford not only fought him, but broke him down, showing a clear shift at the top of boxing. Beating someone once seen as unbeatable makes Crawford the new top fighter that others must fear. Hackett's words also raise a big question. If Crawford could beat the toughest fighter of his time, who is left to really test him? Fans now wonder if he will keep fighting new challenges or retire at the very peak of his career.
Because you got to remember, Canelo is the guy right now in the sport that's supposed to be the man, you know, big bad wolf. You beat him, you the wolf. Now it's like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, who else I'm gonna fight? You beat the shark, you beat the wolf. Right. Damn. Like, you know what I mean? Ain't no more ops out there. It's ops out there, but who gonna make them really want to get up? That's the
shit got to make sense. Like you said, you be the shark and then you be the wolf.
Yeah.
But there's the monster.
Yeah, there is, but that's like a real monster.
Bro, that's to me it don't make sense. But that's
really
what.
A monster.
Yo, is that proof? All right, we got the legendary Pape in the building. Legend. But what makes sense? Like, what makes the most sense? I know you said get a line of suits, Brooks Brothers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Get a line of suits, get your money, man. Go ahead and get the easy money, man. You ain't got to sweat no more.
What's up, boy?
Not saying you ain't got to work, you ain't got to sweat.
What's happening?
He's paved a career where he could sit down at a table and get this money. He could come out with a Terence Crawford series now, just whatever, doing whatever he like to do. People gonna watch it. Nobody, the fighting part, people don't understand what it's like to be a fighter. a lot of times fighters really don't be interested in certain fights. It's because when a guy see himself up here and then is fighting a guy down here, it don't interest him. So therefore, when he train, he not gonna really train. He gonna train, but he not gonna train. He not gonna listen. He gonna feel like his coach taking it too serious, and he's like, man, this ain't even that. But your coach like, listen, you could get fucked up. I'm telling you, you don't want to listen. Then you go in there and fight that guy. Then you get. I seen it happen.
Analysts agree that Terence Crawford's dominant win over Canelo Alvarez was the biggest moment of his career and ended any doubt about his place in boxing history. Before this, fans already respected him for beating Errol Spence in a one-sided fight that silenced critics. But defeating Canelo was even more important since Canelo had long been seen as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters, winning titles in many divisions and often beating bigger opponents. Crawford not only faced that challenge, but took Canelo apart in a way few expected, proving his skills work against any style or weight class. With this victory, he showed his adaptability, technical talent, and mental strength. And now most observers see him as a rare fighter who has beaten every challenge in front of him.
I think there was enough action, and I think Crawford displayed his skill enough, even to someone with not the most trained eye, that they know they saw a very high-level athlete perform something at a very high level last night. I think he gained the sports world's attention last night and respect. He already did after Spence, but it went to another level in this fight.
And I think even the fight itself, like just from a median level, but then the moments where they were having these exchanges, like kind of late in the fight, then people were like, all right, it was good. Then like, okay. I saw somebody like, they're squabbing. Like, there's a fight here. So I think it did.
And Crawford closed the show.
Yeah.
In 10, 11, 12, he stood in there and landed some hard shots and rocked Canelo at the bell. He didn't. James was talking about the great Floyd Mayweather. Floyd would go up on you 8-0 and then coast, and you might as well turn the fight off at midway through the ninth. Like, you know, he's not gonna. But Crawford didn't do that. But he wasn't up 8-0, to be fair to Floyd. But Floyd was when he fought Canelo, so he could do that. But Bud instead steps on the gas. Bud is a finisher. You know, he closes really strong. He closes really strong in every exchange. That's one of his gifts. He's the best counterpuncher of his era, one of the greatest counterpunchers that lived. But the great fighters, James would tell us about this. James and Mike McCallum put on fights that exemplify what I'm talking about: initiating and punctuating, being first, being last. That's one of the things that makes Crawford who he is. So, no, I think it was a good enough fight that it certainly didn't hurt boxing.
Yeah, I think sport of boxing delivered last night. I mean, Crawford didn't deliver.
Yeah,
Manny,
did.
The debate over Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather is one of the biggest talks in boxing today. Many believe Mayweather's defense, timing, and ring IQ would have given him the edge, as he was a master at controlling fights, shutting down opponents, and staying unbeaten by adapting to any style. On the other hand, some argue Crawford's power, calmness, and ability to switch stances could have made him Floyd's toughest challenge. Crawford's unpredictable style and finishing instinct might have forced Mayweather into situations he usually avoided. In the end, both fighters showed different kinds of greatness. Mayweather built his legacy on control and precision, while Crawford shines with versatility, aggression, and smart adjustments. The debate may never be settled, but it proves the respect both champions have earned across generations. With so many achievements already, Terence Crawford is now at a crossroads. Fans want him to face new challenges like David Benavidez, Jermall Charlo, or other big names. But there's also a chance he may choose to retire instead of taking more risks. At 37, he has nothing left to prove and could step away while still on top. This leaves fans divided, as many fear boxing could lose one of its few active greats at a time when the sport needs big fights the most.
Yella Sheik said, deliver the job to Terence Crawford. The fighters think showbiz.
And Saturday, deliver the job.
Y'all missed the most important part. It's when he said, don't retire.
No retirement.
This is what you guys are missing. Turkey Yella Sheik was trying to say, return the favor.
You must return it, yeah.
Bud interrupted him by saying the job ain't done, which prompted Turkey Yella Sheik to say, yeah, deliver the job. But that's not what he was on. He was on the first part, return the favor. But Turkey, in a second thought, he goes back to Bud and he says, and don't retire.
No retirement.
That's what Turkey meant when he was trying to say, return the favor. I did this for you. You got this big fight, but don't retire. Return the favor.
UFC legend Daniel Cormier is the latest to praise Terence Crawford after Ilia Topuria's surprising call-out. Cormier, known for his deep knowledge of combat sports, admitted that Topuria is rising fast in MMA and looks like a future star. Still, he said he would put his trust in Crawford without question. According to Cormier, Crawford has already proven why he deserves to be called the best active fighter today, with his record and dominance speaking louder than hype. His words are powerful because they come from outside boxing, showing that Crawford's greatness is respected not only in the ring, but across all combat sports.
I bet that Ilia Topuria could knock Terence Crawford out, no chance. If I had to bet Ilia Topuria versus Terence Crawford, I'm betting Terence Crawford. I mean, he's the best boxer in the world, and this is what he does, and he's done his entire life. But we also knew that about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. We knew, right, deep down, that Conor McGregor was not going to knock out Floyd Mayweather. But because of what we had seen him do inside of the octagon, what we had seen him do to all those great fighters in MMA, when he walked into that ring, people thought he had a chance. He didn't really have a chance. Conor never had a chance against Floyd Mayweather. And it would feel that way with Topuria. But you could at least tell that there's a chance because of how good he is in boxing and how he knocks people out inside the UFC. Initially, I thought Bud Crawford would just no-sell Ilia Topuria, right? When you're the king and everybody's calling your name, you can literally just ignore them and nobody will say anything about it. But Bud Crawford isn't one to ignore stuff.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.